you really believe it's your fucking shoes you're tying? What a fucking asshole! Unbelievable.
Who
I'm
said
tying my
anything
shoes. Really? You think your shoes are being tied by you? What a fucking joke. Anyway, what's going on?
Who said anything about your shoes other than you? I believe I said the shoes.
Well, do you think
You
you're tying the shoes?
You see where the difference is, or did you miss the point?
Well, do you think you're tying the shoes, bro?
Do you know you're tying them, or do you think you are?
Well, listen, mate. If you think you're doing anything, you got to ask yourself, what do you know? What do you think you know? Do you think you know anything?
Boon, would it make sense that if 3 or more agree with you that you might know something that others believe the same or whatever, know the same? Now, if I give you
someone, only if the guy next to you is watching you, only if the guy next, only if the guy next to you is watching you and agrees with you that you're tying the shoes. Then I guess you got an agreement.
If we all sit together and we agree that those things we put on our feet, the general so-called population calls them shoes. Some of them have straps for those that can't tie them, led to believe. Some you can slip on. Some
well,
that
I don't know about the general population.
The point,
you know, it's all you can do is look at the one in front of you.
Well, the point of the matter is, does one know how to tie him up, or does he believe or think he can tie him up? Which is it?
Well, what makes you think it's you the one tying them up?
Well, no, that's a question for you. Have you ever tied a pair of shoes? Allegedly?
I don't know. Unless you were there, how would you know?
Well, that's why I'm waiting for
how does anyone know on their own what they're doing on their own?
Well,
you can make a statement. I did this, but how are you going to prove it?
Well, could it be I'm looking for some first-hand testimony?
Nah, well, your first-hand testimony will testify
No,
against
I'm looking for your first-hand testimony if you got such a thing.
Well, was it who was talking about?
Were you there? Were you there when the shoes were tied?
Well, who is?
Well, I believe I'm there when the shoes were tied.
When the shoes were tied, I guess that you can have a little discussion about it. But other than that, what can one prove?
Well, there's a point that's trying to be made, but you might be missing it. It's all right.
Okay, you seem to want to have a point to put across. Then what's the point? Is it pointless?
I don't believe so. The point is, I think you said who knows anything, and so
that's right. Who can prove one knows anything? Exactly.
Well, if 100 people in the room and they all agree that shoes get tied with laces and people tie them up, well, what have you there?
Do you have a signed agreement with the 100 people?
You need a signed one for it when you have agreement verbally.
Well, agreement is verbally and
how many agreements? How many agreements is truth?
You want a wooden idol on a piece of paper, or you want a shake of a hand?
Well, depends on what one's agreed to.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I do so-called business in the world of commerce, and I don't use any pieces of paper or pen to sign on for agreements. I provide.
Oh well, look, you don't. You just what comes out of the mouth is enough. For to verify agreement. Could it be? I mean, is it true? What is spoken is also written.
No.
No. Well, down here in this part of the world, when you speak something, it's like a signed agreement. That's how business is done here.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And you might find it's the same in your court.
Boon, you got a rule book I can read before I come visit you in case I, step out of line? I'm looking for a rule book on this. You got one?
What do you mean by
refrain
God?
from agreeing.
Is there such a thing, a rule book that explains what you're talking about? If I was to visit there, I might want to look.
Listen, brother, this call is not about fucking making sense. This call is all about fucking one thing. It's about what you fucking can prove, you think you fucking know, and basically it's all about one thing. And I think I made it nice and clear. If anyone wants to do this call, it's only about one thing. It's about the studying of the judge in court, and also any transcripts, videos, anything that anyone's got other than that, any opinions, beliefs, and all that is just absolute fucking garbage and bullshit. You can
So
go on any other call and talk about it, but this bullshit call is about complete fucking nonsense. And nonsense is what confounds the minds of man, because man likes to fucking think he fucking knows shit. So you can put all the bullshit you like up there. It doesn't matter. It's useless. I'm only interested in one thing, and whether this call is going to continue or not doesn't matter. It's only for the ones who fucking who are really deeply interested in pretty much one thing, in how to navigate possession in a world that is basically it's like an addiction. The addiction to being possessed with the possessor's property. And if you think it's all crap and bullshit and prove that, well, what I'm talking about is first-hand experience. I don't know about your first-hand experience in tying shoelaces, but first-hand experience in what I'm talking about. And if it's bullshit, that's fine. It's not for anyone or everyone. It's for very, very few, if any. And I've come across very few. I'm not into any arguments. I'm not trying to prove nothing. I'm not trying to fucking do anything. It's only for the ones who are genuine enough to explore and investigate what is possession and why is it the strongholds of man are so deep that it's so difficult to actually conceive what this bullshit I'm so-called talking about.
Well, if I had an opinion about that, would you listen?
No, did I just tell you about fucking opinions, and now you want to give me opinions? All right, if you must.
The question begs. The question begs.
No.
You have one.
What's that?
No.
1 sec. I love you, Daniel. Carry on, son.
Get what the
Carry on there, son.
Daniel, you talk. I love you, bro. You talk like, oh, we all got to get together. We all got to talk about experiences and this and that. And then you sit here and you're freaking pointing the finger, Darren this. Bro, man, whether Darren's correct or not, the whole mentality of it is one guy's got the fucking answer and the other guy don't.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, man.
Yep.
I love
it. Yep. Absolutely.
Up.
So tell me which guy thinks he knows he's got the answer. Anyone there can actually say who's got the answer? What?
Between you and Darren right now, from what I've been hearing?
Well, that's just what you hear. What do you know about what you hear?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, you know something more about what I hear than I do.
Okay. So we're talking
you're
about
asking me now about what I hear, and you haven't even heard what I heard. But go ahead. No, bro, really?
Anyway, has anyone got any videos or any actual transcripts from the court? That's all I'm interested in going through. And if anyone wants to do that, otherwise we'll just terminate the calls. Nothing more to talk about.
I got a video. If we can find it, it's an interaction between agents in what we call the chicken coop, where the truckers go through to be weighed. Are you interested in that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in all that stuff because I like the cross-examination of agents. I'm not interested in me. I'm not interested in anyone else. I'm interested in the agents and the judge. And if anyone's interested in cross-examining all of that shit, I'm not interested in a guru and some asshole thinks they fucking know shit. I'm only interested in fucking agents, fucking actual real-life videos of people.
This is a real-life interaction.
Yeah, I may not be able to view it at this very moment because I'm just on the highway out there in the Neverland. So you put it up there. I can look at it later.
Yeah, I got to find it. I think I put it in a room somewhere, and I got to look for it. Some people have already looked at it, but I thought it's an interesting video. Yeah.
All right. That's fair enough. I'll have a look at that. I mean, look, it's. I don't know how to put
the possession, right? Those agents believed they had the right to possess the plates off that truck. I didn't stop them. They obviously didn't have they didn't think they had the right to possess the truck and the plates. So we drove away with the truck with no plates on it.
Oh, there you
and
go.
they didn't bother us. So if that's
Yeah.
got anything to do with possession, they thought they possessed those plates. I didn't argue with them. Take the plates.
Oh, take what you believe is yours. Yeah.
And then we drive away with the truck and carried on with the day's deliveries. That's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like, for example, it's actually, I don't know if I sent the video, one of them where the agent came to the door and the agent goes, "This is my property," and she goes, "No, it's not. This is my property." And he basically, they can pretty much storm inside the house and confiscate whatever they want. As soon as you say it's my property, now it's their property, and it's all possession. So you got to ask yourself, how do these guys do what they're doing? Well, they take what you believe is yours. That's all. It's too simple.
Well, that's only if you believe it's yours. If you believe that the state owns everything, you don't have that conflict.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't worry about the state, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's dealing with possession, dealing with, you know, instead of going, oh, that's my fucking house, my door, my. What the fuck do you mean by that?
You mind giving me a receipt for that?
Yeah, what do you mean by giving?
If you need to use it, just give me a receipt to say you're taking that, and just hold that receipt and see what happens with it later when you go to get indemnified.
You'll find down here they won't actually take anything if you're dealing with possession, 100%. When I say dealing with possession, I'm talking about question for question. Every question is dealing with, what do you mean by have? What do you mean by your? What do you mean by all that shit? And I know that all sounds crap, and I know you asked it once in court. Nothing happened from it because you don't ask it once. You have to ask it every time you listen to it. You have to hammer it like a fucking jackhammer. And that's the problem. If you're not hot for this, it's fucking the most useless bit of bullshit you'll ever come across. You got to hammer this. And this was in court just recently when the bro goes in. You know, they go, "You got a lawyer. What do you mean by God?" And he goes, "You know, you non-stop. You have to hammer possession, 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 right? And if you're not doing that, you're asking it once. It's like absolutely, completely dismissed. But asking those questions, it's not going to come out of the mouth of man. Why? Because people like to think they know shit, and this is a reduction of intelligence, not an increase of intelligence. This is a reducing oneself to zero. And who wants to do that? I'm yet to meet anyone who thinks they want to, who wants to reduce themselves. Everyone is always either seeking for knowledge. I need to know. They want etymology and all this kind of origins. Well, where's the origin of all origins? Where does it all go back to? Yeah, and that's the investigation. Because if we're all looking in the scripture, if we're all looking in the scripture, and we're all going, oh, what's in the whose word is this? Well, why are we looking to find origin in Greece or in Hebrew or in this Latin or this or that? So we're finding the origin with the possessor. That's all I'm saying. If there's something to say.
People like bedtime stories. It's like Batman. He only gives it the short and sweet of it, and then we like to embellish on it. We like a little more of a story. Otherwise, it's too fucking boring. We got to add to it, right?
Well, why add or subtract?
Adding to it, right? We just add to it.
Yeah, why add or subtract anything?
I know that's a great question. Why? But it's fucking seems to me it's done everywhere, and I've done it myself. I've seen lots of people.
Yeah, it's not easy to listen to the one before you who's come there to pretty much deliver you an order, and an order is you got to go to court, and how are you going to deal with that? When you got to go to court, okay, that's what you want to deal with the agents, and then you go before the judge, and the judge. Now, this is really important. The judge is there. Why? Why the judge to me is the one. Why I focus 100% on the judge is because the judge is there to offer you the kingdom of the world, to kneel before the one you serve. Kneel before the one you serve and do an act of worship. And the act of worship is take possession, is take the offer. The offer is look at everyone else. And this is how it is in this court. The judge goes, look at everyone else. I've reduced all their fines. I've done all this. I've stopped this guy from going into jail. I did this and I did. Look, did you notice anything? You can do just like them. You can do that if you just do this act of worship. Kneel and bend your knee before me, and then that's where we can do business. So this really is the court. The court is when the judge is screaming at you and all of that sort of stuff. That's the kind of judge I like, is because the judge is going to tell you everything the opposite to what you're saying. He'll never give you what you're looking for. You've just got to ask him the question. And that's pretty much the bottom line. If you don't ask him the question, are you saying I was there, right? And hammer it 100 times. Every time he say something, you got to listen to what he's saying and ask the question. What's the relevance of any of that? Unless one is saying that one was there. Unless someone's saying I was there. It throws a spanner in the works. And you have to hammer it like a child, go, with their questions. Why, mummy? Why this? Why that? Why? Shut up, Johnny. Why this? Why that? Shut up, Johnny. Why this? Why that? Why? Shut up, Johnny. And on it goes. So how else is one to come through this unless you're as hot as lava? And anyway, that's basically how I see going to see the judge, and the judge is there with a big hammer, put a hammer on top of everyone's head, and that's basically how. Oh shit! That's basically how things are done down this part of the world. Anyway, anyone want to talk about anything? Any transcripts that one guy down here actually went to court, and so there's a bit of a transcript coming up, or a audio, which is really good. We might do it next call or something. We'll do an audio, and you get to you can hear how the judge talks down here. That'll be a lot of fun. So we can actually go through that if anyone's interested. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Maybe we talk again next time. If there's anything that someone wants to break down or go through some of the IRS wooden idols.
You're looking for transcript.
If anyone's got any of those things or transcripts, it's always good to go through that. That's how we go through it.
I'll send it to you personally. I have you here on this. I'll send you a transcript. You can have a look at it.
That's good. It's good, Darren. But the big thing is, if you believe you are your own, it's a hard gig. It's a very tough gig. This possession. That's all.
Yupper, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a tough gig. And I'll tell you, Darren, brother.
When you made the point a couple of weeks ago about possession, and everybody got all hot on it, and it made sense. But like you said, unless you've had 500 hours of Batman, you might not get it. No.
Listen, hang on, back up, hey, fucking kurats. Hey, brother, listen. I only mentioned 500 hours of Batman. I'm talking 20 years ago when we were fucking starting off the journey, right?
Yeah.
It might be a fucking dog's breakfast now. Things are fucking bullshit now. That's fine, yeah. But when I say 500 hours, if you've never heard any of this bullshit, you've got to start off with a bit of bullshit. And there was actually a lot of good things in as far as the questions, and to start thinking in a way where if you've never thought in question mode before, it would have been a good start. And the Batman stuff 20 years ago was actually a lot of fun, and it did start the the turning of the mind. It did
I'll
start
tell you, if I may,
the turning of the
if,
mind. But right now, how things are, I must say, it's. I've never. I certainly. I don't. I certainly wouldn't say do your 500 hours. But anyway, it's that, you know, if there was something to go by as far as a guide, that's what I probably enjoyed back then. But right now, yeah, it
for
may be
me,
different.
that stuff started out about possession, like you say,
Yes,
15 years ago with Batman. You know,
yeah,
I'll tell you, when I first spoke with Batman, I believed I owned everything here that I use in these businesses. And I had blood and sweat and tears and so-called equity, and it was mine, 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 and nobody was taking it away
yeah,
until I met Batman. It gave me a
yeah,
different perspective on it. That hey,
yeah,
I'm using it, and I'll tell you, once I came to that realization that I'm just using it, a
yeah,
huge burden of ownership was so-called this a lie illusion of ownership was lifted off the so-called weight was lifted off of me, and I
yeah,
was happier to use the stuff than I ever was to own it.
yeah.
And that's been that
Well,
way ever since. So I get the possession and you bring it up, and for people who don't understand that, then they're possessed by it, period.
yeah, yeah. But look, it's interesting. Just with the, you know, I'm just using it, and this is where I kind of started off with that years ago, going to court. You know, I'm just using it, Your Honour. And as soon as it's like making a claim, I'm just using it. The judge goes, well, I'll take that. And I went, no way, because I went straight into making a statement. I'm just using it. And that's when I learned, fucking hell. I said, I didn't ask. I just made a statement of, oh, I'm just using it, Your Honour. You know, instead of going, well, if I'm just using it, you know, is that all right with anyone? Is there anyone else using it besides me? If I put it in a question mode, the outcome would have been maybe a lot
Hey Boone,
different.
hey Boone.
Yeah,
That was the next lesson Batman taught about making claims like that. I brought the
yeah,
first one up about the ownership of things, but the next one was, yeah, I'm just using it. Well, what do you mean I'm just using it? What do you mean that's a claim, right? Like you just said.
yeah,
So these were all these little lessons that we kind of went through. All of us that were back then went through this. But for the people today, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to
yeah,
understand that.
yeah. No, it is, because this doctrine of I am is so deep inside an individual. It's like the identification of I, me, mine, mine, mine. It's quite profound in a sense where it's like a hell of a prison that we've identified with and locked ourselves into it, and we're defending something that we've adopted, a program that's not even my program, if I own such a thing, and yet I'm prepared to defend myself over this program that was encouraged from a very young age for me to take it, and I've inserted it into myself, and now believe it, and this becomes my reality in my life and all the rest of it. So
Boom.
it's quite shocking for a lot of people to sort of unravel and start to see what they're
So
looking at.
some of us, Boone, could it be we've been so-called, for lack of a better term, beguiled in a sense, like so-called Eve in the garden?
Yeah,
Could it
yeah,
be we've been led in this program that we come out in this world, and it doesn't matter if you're in Australia or where you are. I think where you're at, I think it's a little more serious. So called Canada here. It feels a little more freer, but from what I'm listening to other brothers that do live on that rock over there, some areas are pretty tough. And I hope the hell, everybody learns to love a little more, and that might help.
well, there you go, and it's how we treat. That's probably why. I mean, look, there's a lot of different, you know, calls and that where people can go and talk about what they think about this and that. That's great, and that's probably why I've really wanted to just put together, if there was possible, a platform which is predominantly all about the scrutinisation of the system. because the system has done a wonderful job in passing on this doctrine in such a way that there are nearly 100% success rate, or I would say it's 100%. I mean, who escapes the doctrines of man, right? It's a very, very difficult. The system is perfection when it comes to passing on the beliefs and the stories and all of that. Now, when you grow up and you discover that everything's fucking, maybe, you've maybe seen a few things and go, oh, this is bullshit and whatever. You start to realise, okay, well, the very system that made you. How do you know the system made you? Okay, well, does one speak the words they're using out of that mouth right now? Well, it was the system that showed you how to sound out the words from the mouth. Ah, eh, e, o, oo. When you're a little kid, you started to sound out all these things. And now that you're grown up and you know how to speak, well, they did a good job of it, right? So, know how to deal with an agent, because the agent is there to help you along, right? I know, and because an agent's there to say, hey, now that you've taken this program and it's been very successful, we're here to take that program away from you and lock you up because, you didn't realise that program wasn't yours. Yeah? You'll never get to meet the one who fucking, offered you the program and encouraged you to take it. But this is training ground. And this is what, if there was something to pass on as a message, or if it was something that was there to show us about what's going on in this world, is, well, the system is unblemished in a sense of it's flawless in a way where they've if we're all speaking, that's you could say that's evidence of a successful system, a system that's very successful in passing on a belief to all peoples of all nations. Crazy as it seems, how do you unfuck yourself? The very system that made you is the very system that you're going to go back into, and that's what. If I was to say what I'm doing or what others around are actually doing, and it's not easy. It's actually it's quite tough and quite hard, because if for your whole life you never considered these things, considered meaning questioned, and all of a sudden you wake up to it and you start doing it, it's like exercising a muscle that you've never exercised before. And it's not easy. Very difficult. So that's why that's why going direct into the eye of the storm, into the system, into the agents, going going to jail, building character. You have maybe, this may be a starting point where you start to learn how does this world work? What's the structure? How does it work? This system? Why are things the way they are? So that's really when the training begins, and the best way to learn is the system actually shows you through the IRS notices, the infringement, transgression notices. They show you when you stopped at the curbside. They show you how to renew the mind. They're showing you, and that the Legion can show you go to war by bringing a claiming that you've made a claim of the possessor's property, or if you're studying them, right, then they start studying you. Down here, when you're asking agents, what do you mean by your, or that, they keep hammering it, and then they start repeating after you. Oh, do you mean the car? Or do you mean the wallet? They'll correct themselves. Now, why is it these agents are very good at correcting themselves? But the people are very bad at correcting themselves. The people are unable to think about how they're speaking. They just keep talking the program, keep talking the way they've been taught, instead of unfucking themselves, hacking thyself. And if you want to know how to do that, it's pretty much going into a place that nobody or few want to go into. That's really all the crux of this bullshit call, and all of that really is all about. And you know, finding a way how to do this, because the pain and suffering is way too great. You know, who can bear possession? Was it true that allegedly Jesus, and I've never met the fella, I wouldn't know, but if it's true, he goes, you know, if it be thy will, take this cup from me. It's unbearable. And the cup was the knowledge. The cup was information. It's unbearable. Who can bear possession? So anyway, something to consider, boys and girls. Anyone there? Hello?
I'm here, brother. We're just in the background talking. I didn't want to disturb the call. I muted out, but I'm still listening to you.
It's all good, brother. All good.
But yeah, you know, I think more or less, if you stick on the possession thing, if it's that's important anywhere, whether you're in Australia.
Say that again, bro.
I say if you
Can
just
you say
stick
that
on
again?
if you just stick on the so-called possession thing, that's the same anywhere in the world. Australia, United States, Canada. Possession is everything, right? You know, the old terrible truth.
Down here, when you go to jail, down here, when you go to jail, every item has a sticker on it, possession. Every item, like a cup, everything has a sticker on it. Now, you'll get blown away by this. You'll go, what the fuck? Down here, they put stickers on everything. The possession of, possession.
So I've been in jail, and on the way out, there's my bag, and it says possessions. Believe me, I hear you. And so, you know, oh, you can go down here and get your possessions. You know, so it's in the programming, man. They push the possession programming, and that's what messes people up. I hear that 100%.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. It's a fucking head fuck for people. It's the biggest fucking head fuck. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? Because it's completely nonsense. But yet it's complete nonsense. Yet it's 100% logical. Now go figure that. It's complete nonsense, yet 100% logical. What the fuck?
Yeah, brother.
Go fucking figure that. Oh, man.
Just get, you know, simple. Try not. It seems simple. Try not to, you know, let possession control you, and just ask questions. I mean,
yeah. Well, look, it is, and the best. That's why. Look, when you look down here,
Boon, is there a Bible in the court in Australia?
Can you say that again, brother?
Do they keep a Bible in the court in Australia?
Oh, look, it's not in plain sight, but they do use it every now and then. Depends on,
you swear on the Bible here in Canada. They'll say, do you swear on the Bible or affirm? And some people will swear, and some people will just affirm.
Yeah, what's the difference? Affirm or swear? It's the same old fucking masturbation.
I'm just wondering if it's similar at the court you've been to.
Yeah, it's the same down here. Now, what you said before. Now, you look, you may have said this. I don't know, but it's down here, court is all about one thing. It's about fear. Now, you know, if I've seen people in court that literally nearly pass out before the judge. It is fear, 100% fear. If you want, I don't even know how to put it. If you can deal with hell-raising screaming in front of your face and fucking threats and fear and all that shit, if you can handle it, I'll tell you what, you're doing fucking pretty good. Because, you know, this is how things are down here, mate. It is, number one, what keeps people in order is fucking fear. And if one was saying, oh, you're fucking preaching fear, well, you come down and fucking and sit back and watch how things are done in court down here, mate. Once you take a fucking shoestring in this court system down here, you'll be put through the mincer. And this is I don't know how to put it. Court is all about one thing, fear. And fear is you're taking property that don't belong to you. So you're guilty or not guilty. Either way, you're guilty. So that's just giving a little snapshot of what it is in a sense of being in fear.
Yeah.
Even the judges have to actually be careful. In some cases, I've seen some women go in there and they were shaking and everything, and the judge, the judge goes, you know, it's okay, you know, we're gonna, you know, they look at where you're at. You know, if you're going to start asking questions, they start looking at you. Oh, yeah, he's tough. Not tough, but he might be able to handle this. And then they start giving it to you. Right? It's a hammer house of horror. You got to love it, man. Because if you don't love it, you're going to be running scared fucking from it. It's like if you can handle the court, mate, you can fucking handle the family. The family is probably the most difficult to deal with. If you can deal with the family, well, then the court is not so hard, not so bad. And if you don't mind people yelling at you and screaming at you, and everyone in opposition to you, the prosecutors, the fucking informants, the clerk, the judge, if everyone down here, you don't talk to any of them. Maybe where you are, everyone has coffee breaks up there. I don't know. But down here, you don't fucking ever talk to a fucking prosecutor or an agent. They're all agents. I'm just using under one umbrella: prosecution, informants, rats, whatever you want to call it. Hearsay, bringing all the hearsay to court. And how are you going to consider all the hearsay? Because it's very hard for them to prove the charges. If you're asking the proper questions, very, very difficult. They need you to believe what they're saying, and they will hammer it into you like a fucking wedge, and they'll get you to react. They'll get you to bend your knee. Very easy.
You ever watch that movie?
It doesn't take much down here.
You ever watch
What's
that
that?
movie, Revolver? Watch the movie Revolver?
Yeah, several times, brother.
Fear me. You remember that?
That's right. There you go. Beautiful.
But
Fear me. That's it.
Did he fear him? No.
No.
He didn't.
There you go, brother. That is court. Fear me. He doesn't fear me, mate. When I go to court, fuck off. I'll tell you what, if I said I love going to court, because it's like, if there's no fear anymore, it's fucking the best thing. It's like, what are they going to do? Fear me. Now, that is a very good point there, Darren, if you were to, direct that. That was bloody beautiful. Because, yeah, if you're in possession, the engineering of it is fear. The engineering of being in possession it's enough for anyone to drop dead. And if there were stories in the scripture about it, I believe there is. I believe there are stories in the scripture about people who have withheld some monies or whatever it is, and and then they drop dead once discovered. So it just is an example of the property that we're talking about, whose property that we're talking about. And that's where we go back to, the possessor. And it's a very strange concept to speak of the possessor, where the where man, or where one has taken possession of the possessor's property. Very strange concept. Yet, when you're asking the questions, every proposition is loaded with possession. And if it's
legal name is so-called somebody else's property. You know, I see today, take this for an example. People around here, they go and they promote, they're against the people of Canada, but they don't realize what Canada is, being a crown corporation. They go and they fly these flags. And so I thought to myself, these people have no idea that these flags are copyright crown material. They go and fly these flags and in a treasonous way complain about the thing they're flying the flag about. And so they don't know. So I looked up on the so-called internet and I thought, okay, can anyone just make a flag and sell them? Well, no, they're copyright material of the crown. Now you can look it up. There's 25 things that Canada gives away. A flag is one of them. The Constitution is another one, or the Charter, I mean, is another one. You can look on the internet. There's like 24 or 25 things Canada gives away for free. But when we go into the flag, it's just so-called, it can't be altered, can't be this, you can't. So possession, you're right. People fly that thing as if they think Canada is theirs. And they know that they're flying the flag of somebody else, some foreign organization, corporation. And so this is why people, like I say, they don't understand the possession, what they're even doing, what they're even possessing in a sense. They believe they have a name. They believe they take that legal name. They possess this legal name, and then they possess the bank account that they open the bank account with the legal name, and then they possess the house that they bought with the legal name and the car, and then they possess the car, and they possess all the money they get that say Australia or Canada on them, and they believe they possess all this money, and they're completely possessed over everything around them. And then when they go and they raise children, they start to tell their children, oh, don't touch that, that's mommy's, don't touch that, that's daddy's, go clean your room, go put away your toys. They learn this possession, this bad program of possession.
Oh, it's fucked up. It's hardcore.
Then they go through life, and then they get really pissed off when
that's right.
Over possessions, man. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, once you've taken this program of possession, then you go to court and then you realise that they're fucking confiscating your sorry ass for everything. And you go, this is fucked. What the fuck's going on? I'm just losing this. I'm losing my wife. I'm losing my kids. I'm losing fucking everything because of this one thing, possession, the fucking program that I've fucking have taken so long, and I can't see the forest for the trees, which is, the program that I've taken to be mine. And then I'm unable to see who the fucking problem is. It's a tough gig, thinking that this is your life, and then suddenly you realise you're under a hammer. It's time to wake up. It's fucking a rude awakening. It's kind of, on one hand, it's a little bit crazy. This is why I see it like training ground, is because on one hand you kind of grow up as a little kiddie, Johnny or whatever. You're growing up as a kid, and the system, you're going to school, you fucking hate school, you all that shit. But yet you're in a system and you're learning how to speak English or Chinese or fucking whatever language, and then the system, you're in the system. And then when you're older, everyone has their opinions and beliefs. The system was successful in passing these doctrines on. And now we're flying a flag and we're going through all this possession shit. And then when we start getting pulled over by the cops and start getting in trouble, it's like, wow, on one hand, they're encouraging you, and on the other hand, they're fucking throwing you in jail. It's fucking beautiful, isn't it? The one system that
chaos.
the one system that's fucking, come on, Johnny, come on, you can do it. You can take this fucking poisonous apple. And Johnny goes, yeah, all right, I'll take it. It's the same system that fucking locks your sorry ass up. It's the same system that fucking, puts you through the fucking whatever. Isn't that great? The same system that does all these things. And here we are, fucking complaining about the system. Who the fuck's the problem? Yeah? It's fucking hilarious.
Forbidden fruit.
It's fucking hilarious. I think it's made in heaven. Whatever system there is, it's fucking great. Why fight it? It's fucking there to fucking be in the training ground. It's there to fucking learn and start unlearning from. It's there to show us how to live in this fucking world. And there's a way of doing it. If anyone's ever fucking, game enough to try something that is completely confounding for most people. Anyway. Someone saying something?
No, we were just chatting in the background here about what we were talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good, bro.
A couple of us here.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but you think about it, possession really is, the forbidden fruit is to think you own something, I think. And if we just look, and that's why I asked about the Bible being in there, because, you only get to go into court and try a few things here and there. And I've gone all different ways, commerce ways and Bible ways and just a village idiot way, whatever the hell, various different things have worked without really understanding why sometimes until after it's all done and you can sit back and look at it. Like you just go at this stuff. I'm trying to, learn. I go in there for simple. Some people say, well, why even bother going in? I've even done that too and not showed up or whatever. And so who knows, right? But I think when you get in there, the trick for me is to avoid possessive terms and ask questions. So it's you may be right about the judge thing. You're going in front of the judge, and if you can avoid possessive terms and ask questions, what is there to judge about you?